Hi, Rita. So now we're on the line officially.
Oh,
and
I got
thanks again
nervous.
for calling.
Okay, now I'm okay.
So tell me what brings you to Atlantic City. Are you wanting to touch base with your East Coast fan base, or?
First of all, I love working with Brad Garrett. We've worked together a lot, and he's really fun and funny. And also, I like the outlet malls.
So two reasons.
Right across the
Great.
street, and I'm bringing an empty suitcase.
And do you, when you come east, because you spend so much time in Vegas, do you change the show up? Is it a similar show to when you're doing right now in Las Vegas, or how do you handle that?
I handle it when I get there because I have so many things I'm doing before I get there. I can't think ahead of time because I've got lots of other shows I'm doing. But, I always do things that are relatable. I mean, people are married in Las Vegas and they're also married in Atlantic City. So I have a lot of jokes that travel. And men are men, women are women wherever I go.
I'm sorry, the last thing you said was?
Men are men and women are women wherever I go.
Right. So your material does translate across the country, sure.
Yeah, and in different countries, anywhere where they speak English. I'm not so good in France.
Me either. That's the same problem. And so when you said you have so many different bits, is that because are you constantly sort of tinkering with the show in Vegas?
Oh,
sort of
all
mixing
the time.
things in and out?
Because I get, I've been in Vegas for 11 years, and I get so many repeat people coming year after year after year. I always want to have 20 new minutes to surprise them. And sometimes when I change my act, because I'm always changing it, and they say, why didn't you do the free gift thing? And then I have to say, well, I'll do it now. I take requests. I'm like Frank Sinatra. I take requests.
Yeah, that's always interesting to me with comedians because unlike, a recording artist, a singer can, does their greatest hits and people expect to hear the greatest hits. And I think
I know they want to hear what they want to hear.
You're right. Well, comedians also have greatest hits too. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my dog Bonkers used to be on stage with me in Vegas. And because they said I couldn't have a dog stay in the hotel unless he was in the show. So I put my dog in the show. And Bonkers did my show for 10 years. And people still want him in the show, and they say, where's Bonkers? But he passed away, and I can't do that. I can do a lot of things. I wish I could make Bonkers reappear. And I have a new dog, Twinkle, but she's not as talented.
Well, I'm sorry about Bonkers. You don't think your new dog has potential to get on stage with you?
She's not. Bonkers was a natural on stage, and Twinkle is more, she's pretty, but she has to stay home.
Right,
I see. Bonkers was a big, like, sheepdog Wheaten Terrier mix, and when he bounded on stage, he was very impressive.
I see. And so, having this, regular gig for so many years, I mean, is that something you really enjoyed? The fact that you're
I love it.
in one place most of the time.
It's a luxury for a performer to be able to stay in one place, and the audience changes. Usually the performer has to get on a plane every day. This way the audience has jet lag. So
you don't miss the road then that much?
No. I travel once in a while, but I stay home, I cook, I clean. I took my daughter to school this morning. Everything's perfect.
What grade is your daughter in?
6th grade.
Oh, okay. And so I was intrigued by a line in your bio about how you got your start as a dancer and then you made the transition to stand-up, but there was a part in the middle that was missing, which was how do you make this transition from, dancer to stand-up? So did you know you were funny and you always wanted to do comedy, or was it something that evolved from your performing on stage?
I just noticed there weren't too many female stand-ups and there were a lot of female dancers. So I said, why not try something where it isn't so crowded? And then I realized that I loved it, and then I had a tremendous interest in it, and I still do, and I still get so excited when I think of a joke.
And so you were, even though, you were dancing is obviously much different than, having to talk, but you weren't nervous having to suddenly be the one doing the talking and sort of,
I was petrified, yeah. Both my hands and both my feet fell asleep when I was on stage for the first time. Everything was sleeping.
And how do you handle that when everything... So how do you handle that when everything falls asleep?
Now I love it. Now being on stage is the most relaxing time of my life. I don't have to do laundry. I don't have to do dishes. Nobody says, can I get me this, get me that? And everybody laughs. It's so relaxing. I love being on stage.
Sounds like a good thing. Yeah, it sounds like a good gig
Yeah.
to get.
I mean, I like being at home too, but I don't have to walk the audience. Got to walk
Right.
it off.
Good point. Yeah, Twinkle probably needs a fair amount of walking, so.
She's looking at me right now. Take me for a walk. She's staring at me.
Well, I have a Chihuahua Terrier mix named Mabel, and she does a lot of staring at me too. So I know that feeling.
They stare at you. They get what they want. She's right here. Hello.
They do. So you have written for so many different kinds of things. The Oscars, your own act, the books, the plays you're doing now. So do you consider yourself a performer, a writer as much of a performer, or is it just sort of a necessary thing to have to write for yourself?
I don't know what I consider myself. I just do what I have to do. I really enjoy writing when I can think of something. It's very difficult, I was in the elevator in my building in Las Vegas, and this rather older man around 70-something, got in the elevator with me. And he said, "You're Rita Rudner." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I wrote you 3 jokes and I sent them to you. Did you use them?" I went, "What? It's harder than that." And I said, "No, I'm sorry. I write for myself." He said, "But they were good jokes." I said, "Okay, well then you do them." It's real. People think it might be easy to come up with things, but it's tricky. It took me years and years and years. It took me 30 years, and this man in the elevator was so angry at me that I didn't use his 3 jokes.
And do you often get people sending you jokes or telling you jokes?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What?
I said, do you often have people sending you material or offering jokes
not
to you
too
on
much
the spot?
anymore. When I was first, even my dad, he tried to write me material. He sent me pages of things that I didn't understand, and I said, Dad, I love you, but you're a lawyer. Don't do that. I'm just getting over a cold. I don't write your laws.
What you know.
Don't write my comments.
Yeah. And then when you're preparing to get on stage, how much do you script what's going to happen in terms of, I'll talk about this for a few minutes and this for a few minutes?
I script 100% of it except the questions at the end. And
okay.
If something that I'm not expecting happens, then of course I address it because you can't ignore it. And then you could go off onto a different tangent. Or sometimes you feel an audience is liking a certain type of joke better than this type of joke, and you just naturally go towards that area. But it's very intuitive. You have to pay attention to the audience and what they want and how they're feeling.
And do you see, do you often find that you have to change things up because the audience isn't laughing where you thought they were going to laugh, and so does it happen a lot, or now because you do it for so many years that things just sort of flow pretty easily?
No, I just do it as I do it. It usually flows, but I go, oh, this is a good idea for a new joke, and I'm going to try this here. And you just do it. That's what I do, almost every night. So it's kind of natural to me.
And I also wanted to ask you about your play. I think it said that you're trying to bring it to New York next year. Is that still the plan?
We're doing a new version. We're working on it right now. It's a play version of my novel Tickled Pink. It's a play that my husband adapted. And we are doing a new version of it in 2014. We did a really successful version that was at the Laguna Playhouse last year. But we learned something very valuable, that you shouldn't have too many people in a play because you can't. We got offers to do it in other places, but the economics of it didn't work out because of housing and traveling and all the things. So we've cut down the size of the cast, and we're going to try it again.
And are you appearing in it, or
yes?
No, you are.
I'm going to play 7 different parts.
Wow, that sounds like a nice challenge.
Fun for me. I did 3 different parts in the first version, and I've added, 4 plus 3 is 7. I've added 4. Very good at math.
And that was quick, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how does that compare to be, creating these characters for the play versus, being yourself in the stand-up?
I always I want to do something challenging every year. So it's uncomfortable for me and yet very satisfying if it's something that succeeds, because you don't want to just keep doing the same things. I always try to write a book or, do a movie or do something different every year.
And speaking of challenges, how does it work with your husband? Is that a challenge, or is that
No,
pretty
that's how I met him. He produced comedy shows. He hired me. He paid me. We got married.
smooth? End of story.
That's it. They're 25 years ago.
Well, that's a nice way to end the story, and I think this is probably a good way to end the interview as well. So, Rita, thanks so much. I appreciate you taking time out to chat today.